Welcome to the Unabridged Podcast. I'm Micah, the host of today's episode. This is On the TV.
Hi, I'm John Mark.
John Mark.
Hi, I'm John Mark.
And?
Channing.
And?
Gabriel.
Incredible.
Incredible.
All right.
Indeed.
So,
Coffee burnt my tongue already.
would you guys consider...
Oh, we're right into it.
We're gonna start with Gabe, okay? Then we're gonna go down the line. Gabe, Channing,
What?
John Mark. Gabe,
started with you in the intro.
Who out of the three of us do you feel closest to?
John Mark.
Channing, who out of the three of us do you feel closest to?
I mean, I live with you now, so probably
For
you.
real, bro.
Yeah.
We just we became like brothers the last month.
No
All right,
way.
John Mark. Who are you closest
Probably
to?
Gabe, yeah.
Gabe?
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
son. That's what I'm talking about.
I would definitely say Channing right now too. And then Gabe and I feel like I know him a little more than you, John Mark. Low-key, we're a bunch of strangers who have a band
What?
together, guys.
You think you know me more than John Mark knows me?
No. I know you more than John Mark
That's not what he
knows
said.
me.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, that is incorrect. Okay, so you're saying that
It's just, no.
you... I don't remember. I'm tired.
I'm saying I know you a little better than I know John Mark.
Oh, okay. So comparatively, okay, that's cool because I'm glad I have the coffee because it's a necessity at this point.
It's gonna help
It's
you
been
out.
a long day.
That's
Oh.
great.
Yeah,
I'm
can we
so
mention?
tired at work.
Can we mention that we are actually recording this podcast at 10 p.m. on a
10
Friday
p.m.
night?
It's really closer to like 11
Oh, sorry,
now.
10:48.
Close.
I was playing
10:48
Monopoly.
p.m.
I was playing Monopoly until like
Uh,
10:15.
And he was winning, by the way, guys.
I destroyed them. Like at this point, it's like not even okay. Like it's disrespectful to
Yeah.
them. Like
He's a
every time they
businessman.
have to pay me, they just throw the money at me. Like seriously, it's like really funny. they
They're
like
just
are not
mad.
okay with it.
That's fun.
Like my friend Cody, he was like, "I'm done. I don't respect you anymore." And it was
Yeah.
like, well, sucks to not have as many hotels as me. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's great. I love
Oh my
hotels.
gosh. I just watched the Donald Trump interview on Impulsive. That was
Dude.
cool. Did you watch that too, Gabe?
I didn't watch it, but anything with the
Donald
orange
Trump
man,
went on-
I love it.
He did. It actually was very entertaining. Honestly,
Donald Trump
went
is
on
a
Logan Paul's
comedian.
podcast.
he already got shadow banned on YouTube. It's got like 2 million views in like under 24 hours and it's not on the trending page. So-
Dang.
Bruh.
Anyways,
Anything with the orange man, love it.
did you just say with the orange man?
Yes.
Orange Man's
Great way to
crazy.
start off the podcast.
Dude, I cannot
John Mark, what
stop.
breaks your heart? I'd love to know. I feel like I'd be closer to you if I knew what broke your
People who
heart.
don't support the orange man?
No, like honestly.
Oh, okay.
The follow-up question is what brings you joy? You can answer
okay.
both if you want.
Dang, this coffee's hitting.
What breaks my heart? Probably, mainly myself. Like,
Oh, bro.
In what way?
in the most like freaking introspective, depressing way possible. I'd say that I definitely I love myself, but I also kind of despise myself sometimes. Like
That's not good.
I'll go from like it's what?
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
But
it's not.
Totally.
It's not at all.
Totally agree with that, though. I mean, we're the hardest on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I can
No,
connect
like-
with you with that. Connect with you
Like-
with that.
Like one day I'll be like, "Oh my God, I feel so good." Like every day God is so good. But then the next day I'm like, I feel like absolute crap. But somehow I'm okay.
Is it because you sort of place your value in your output, would you say, and you don't meet that standard that you set for
Yes.
yourself?
Because I almost function myself like a machine in a certain way to where if I am not productive, then I am very hard on myself. And especially if I am productive in the opposite way, like if I do something stupid instead of doing something practical and useful, then I'm already just like, what is wrong with you? And then
in this world with a
get really
machine,
upset.
if it does the wrong thing, or it does or it doesn't work as efficiently, it gets thrown in the dump. You know, and so I
Yeah.
feel like when we see ourselves as machines, and we were like, if we were only made to do something for other people.
Yeah.
When
if you
we-
see yourself
when we-
as a machine,
yeah.
and you're not getting good output, then you're a bad machine.
Yeah, and then you feel like people aren't gonna want you in their factory, aren't gonna want to
Yeah.
work beside you, and so it's like I
sim-
totally get that.
I simultaneously think of myself as like what's the word? Like a workaholic, but also the laziest person I know, and it's really unhealthy.
Yeah.
We've already come to the conclusion that we're the same person.
So-
You're just more of an introvert. So
I know.
This is just
Yeah.
This is just putting it on video. This is crazy.
In acknowledging that that's how you feel about what breaks your heart, do you think that's like a obviously bad trait or like an obviously bad pattern you've noticed in yourself? Or are you like, no, I am a machine. This thought pattern of thinking I'm a machine and that my output defines my worth. Like, do you think that's a bad thought process, or to what extent of like how I described that aligns with what you actually think?
I think it could be useful at times. I don't think it's a great outlook. Like, I'm not saying like I go day by day thinking I am a machine, but like whenever I really get introspective and think about it, that is kind of the way that I treat myself sometimes. And it's not great. But like in terms of putting out a good output, that is biblical because of produce good fruits. And so if you're producing the bad fruits, then that's not good. But that doesn't mean I need to beat myself up over it. That just means I need to work on producing
Right.
good
Or
fruits.
like the Lord blesses hard work. And even like
Yes.
as men, I feel like we have sort of a weight put on ourselves, and that weight is even from God at times. But I would say be careful, man. I heard this really good thought pattern in a book I read called Gentle and Lowly, I believe. Yeah, Gentle and Lowly. But the whole thought was that if God is actually our Father and we come to our Father and we're always like trying to prove ourselves to Him, and we're always like, oh, I'm so sorry that I didn't do this, and that I didn't measure up here, and that I didn't measure up here, and that I didn't do this, that as like a father, He's actually like kind of frustrated with us for doing that. Like if I was a kid and I really wanted to impress my parents by like doing extra chores and making sure that like I treated my siblings as well as I could, and that all my interactions with them and people were like on point, but it was purely so that I had a place in the family, you know, so that I had their approval, that like as a parent, they'd be like, bud, stop trying to earn my approval. Stop trying to prove that you have value in my family, that you have value as my child. Your value is not found in like how well you do your chores or how good you talk to me or you talk to your siblings, but it's found in like the fact that you're my child. And so obviously the Lord blesses hard work, but I'd say be careful, because if you purely look at who you are as like, I'm what I bring to the table, I am the output. No, you're God's. You know what I'm saying? He's like, stop trying to prove that you're in my
Yeah.
family. You're in my family. Even though He does bless your hard work.
Well,
Yeah.
on blessing hard work, Hebrews 6:10, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him as you have helped His people and continue to help them. So with the hard work aspect, there's that. And then with the not having to prove to your like your parents or anything that you're worth it, because for God so loved the whole world that He gave His only Son. We didn't believe, like we weren't we're not good enough to deserve that. But you know, your parents are saying, you know, don't try to like prove yourself, because I love you anyway.
Right.
So I mean, I totally get it, John Mark. Like honestly, it's like if you don't measure up, you know, you like everyone else is like forgiving and saying, you know, it's not that bad, da 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 da, and you're just like, well, I could have done better. And then if you don't measure up to what you want to, then you just feel like a failed machine.
Yeah. Or not measuring up. Like there is a level of not measuring up that is like missing the mark too, you know? But hitting the mark isn't like our initial value in general, I would say, you know?
Yeah. So if your faith without works is dead. So if you're
Right.
So if if you have faith and you're doing works to earn that, maybe, but like if you're doing the works so that God will love you, that's
Then
like
there's
different.
something
What was that
twisted.
thing from Principles of Worship? It was like we don't do what we do for the love of God. We do what we do because we love God, not to earn it, but just to use what we've received.
Yeah.
And so
That was pretty good.
we give out from what we've received. We're not trying to get so that we can give.
True.
I don't know. I may have just totally butchered that, but
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that honest thought though about what breaks your heart, John
Yeah.
Mark. What brings you joy though? Like when you hit the
me
mark,
joy.
or
Oh,
just in
definitely.
general?
I'd say progress definitely brings me joy, but also
Okay.
I think what really brings me joy is just like I don't even like just I don't know necessarily what brings me joy. I think I just know when I'm joyful.
but we hold on.
Like-
but we do need to
like you know-
distinguish
when you
between
know.
joy and happiness.
True.
Joy-
No, that is true.
Joy and happiness are totally different.
Joy
Because
is
you
found
could,
in
you could lose your house in a tornado in Oklahoma and not be happy, but somehow still have the joy of the Lord.
that's true.
So there will be
definitely.
tribulations, but take heart. That's the kind of joy that we need. But happiness is different. So what brings you happiness specifically?
Well, that's a good question too, but I would say more that the caveat I'm adding is obviously we know that if we're like speaking about joy in like the Christian realm, that the Lord would bring us joy, right? But I'm saying in general, like the things that break your heart and the things that God's burdened you with, or the things that bring you joy or make you come alive, John Mark, are different than the things that make me feel joy, even though both of those things are from the Lord, or that both the things that God like might burden your heart with that break your heart. Like I'm just saying what makes you, and I think that's
Dude.
sort of from what breaks your heart and what brings you joy. So I'm asking more in like the what distinguishes what brings you joy and how God made you like that from the way that we all feel joy.
Honestly, the thing that brings me joy is just straight up truth. Like I can be in like the worst freaking situation and I can be learning the exact same lesson over and over and over again, but I'll learn one little new aspect of that situation and I will feel like absolute crap, but I know like one small new truth that I didn't know before and I'm just smiling.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
that's I
Truth.
think joy is the whole thing of like joy and happiness. Joy is having that little bit of happiness in the midst of somewhere that no one could think that you would be happy.
Okay. Happiness is an emotion. Joy is a state of being.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm trying to make the distinction of
I know. I know you are. I'm trying to like just. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I just want to like. I just like want to distinguish that
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
joy is not fleeting.
joy is a state of mind while happiness is really a circumstantial thing.
Yeah.
Sure. And so maybe my question's a little misframed, but
I get what you're saying.
But
yeah.
basically what I'm saying is what circumstances bring you joy. So if we forget about the definition a little bit, I think you're onto something.
Okay.
But really, I'm just saying.
Circumstances, then we are talking about happiness.
Okay. What brings you happiness? Fine. And then it's Channing's turn.
we're just gonna not. We're not gonna get
freaking-
past John Marcus. It's fine.
Definitely good progress, good fruit, good friendships, good conversation.
Good conversations.
Oh shoot!
Yeah. Ooh, it's
we're
almost
doing
like
right
we're
now, guys.
recording a
We're
podcast.
making John Mark happy right now.
I'm so happy.
Bro's smiling. Bro's cheesing about that.
I got my inhaler.
I'm so happy. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's a good answer. All right, Channing. What breaks your heart?
That's so.
What's that even
love that
mean?
What breaks your heart, bro? Like, if I wanted to break your heart,
Like
what do I got to do?
Well, I mean, if you're
Like, throw away your laptop,
Dang.
punch your
I mean, that
girlfriend.
would-
Ukulele, dude. I could just get it and
Oh
just
my
What
God.
what sort of like unjust things break your heart? Or even actually like I know people like my girlfriend, she would just say, "Oh my gosh, injustice breaks my heart," right? Like it could be like a huge blanket term or it could be some like really specific things. Like what sort of do you think defines what breaks your heart in general?
I mean, like bad stuff.
Bad music?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I really can't think of like a personal thing that's like too personal that like it's very specific to me. I
Yeah.
guess.
Is there a more vague way of referring to a similar type of experience?
your definition
Like-
of things that break your heart are things that don't break my heart. That's your like. What does not break your heart?
Like
Things
it could
that
be
don't break my heart. That's
like
it.
it could be broken people break my heart. You know, it could be my dog hurting his foot breaks my heart. You know,
Stepping on your dog's foot, bro.
that actually
That takes
dude,
like
I
a week
slammed
to
my
get
dog's
over.
foot in the door
Yeah.
when I was going down the
In
stairs
the
one time.
door.
That actually did break my heart.
How could you?
I know.
Dude.
I'm a monster.
My
Yeah.
dog's a 10-pound Yorkie. I weigh 250 pounds. So if my stuff bringing
you step on
his
him?
little baby paw that's like like a little bit bigger than my thumb, dude, bro is cooked.
That is kind of
He's
sad.
just like yelping.
Wait,
I'm
have
like,
you done
I'm
that?
so sorry, son.
Have you done that? You stepped on him?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, not my whole entire dog. my shoes are size 15s. He is.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
He's not. He's like as big as my shoe. So if I like stepped on him, he would be done. I would have no dog. That would break my heart.
Okay. So Channing, maybe answer
We'll go back to
what
you.
brings you joy. That might help us figure out what breaks your heart better.
What makes you weep?
Because sometimes like the opposite.
What makes you cry, Channing?
I don't know if I've ever cried.
What
No, I'm just
brings you
kidding.
joy?
Bro's
Good ramen.
Bro's a
I think good ramen's all right.
Good ramen.
Bro,
It's a vibe.
good ramen.
Dude, Channing makes ramen at least like 5 times a week right now.
Dude, I can't.
Yeah.
But it's
All that
pretty good.
Salt, bro, I get like.
Bro, just season it yourself.
Sodium in my lungs.
That's so true. I could put like smoked paprika and stuff. In
All
there,
right,
bro.
Channing, we gotta let him talk, guys. He's it's okay.
I'm a big talker. Got a big old mouth. As you can tell.
Like, you want like a specific thing or just like a blanket?
Just from the bottom of
statement?
your heart, what brings you joy?
Brings me joy. I mean, like,
Where's the Jeopardy theme
I
song
can
when
give you
need it?
suggestions if you want.
I mean, like, do you want like, is this like a personality thing or like do you want like a technical answer or like,
Whatever your answer is.
If lightning were to strike you, would you be like, dude, this makes me
Like
so happy?
my answer revolves around creativity and like inspiring people, okay?
okay.
So like what's your answer?
I mean, I do a lot of stuff and it's kind of nice when things work. But,
You say when things don't work.
well, like when things work.
When things work.
Yeah.
So
you
like
have to
finished
speak up.
things.
I've been working with chainsaws lately. I need you to speak
Do you mean
up, my boy.
Oh,
do you mean when
funny.
like systems just work on their own or like when you're able to make something work? That brings you joy.
I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter like if you've done it, but like whenever things just like kind of work.
So whether you're appreciating it or you're like the thing that pulled it together, as long as it's working, it's probably bringing you joy.
Probably.
So like when the puzzle
That
pieces
makes a lot of
fit
sense,
together.
actually.
So when the puzzle pieces fit together, it's like nice.
When logic doesn't buffer
Because
for a whole
all I
take.
know is that especially in the work that I do, if I'm like putting ceiling tiles back in for the church or cutting down trees, like if I'm putting a chain around and I can't get the stupid chain to connect, I'm like, this is supposed to be simple in my life. I'm about to go insane on this chain. Or like it's like a stupid like ceiling
rhymed.
tile. Like I'm like trying to take the ceiling tile out and I'm like trying to tilt it and like get it the perfect angle and then I can't and so I just freaking punch it through the center and like rip it down because I'm like I'm done. I get that simplicity in life. is amazing.
Bro describes the most particular scenario and then
like-
looks at Channing like it was his idea and says, I get that, dude.
Like, yeah.
I've been dealing with this all week.
Bro, I'm
need
so
prayer.
glad.
I felt that with the ceiling tiles.
That's so funny.
I needed a vent.
Bro's like, I relate to you so much. Let me tell you this story about a ceiling tile.
It's been
I
like,
really had to.
it's been all week. I needed to get it
It's
out.
okay,
fine.
Gabe. I know you're itching to tell us what breaks your heart. What
Yeah.
breaks your heart, Gabe?
Oh, I'm here now?
Bro,
It's
just
my
like
turn now?
ugly women break my heart.
Dang.
No, listen. No. That,
Just kidding.
No.
No. Honestly, what breaks your heart? Actually, no. I meant to say like very attractive women break your heart. Then it sounds like you pull. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, ugly women make me
Ugly women break.
weep tears of joy.
Put that in the quote book, John Mark.
I can't right now because I'm on FaceTime. But
You have a quote book. Okay.
All right.
All right.
It's
Gabe.
What
so
breaks my heart is people leaving me.
Mm.
So like
Abandonment.
yeah.
That's a hard one.
So yeah, that's probably one of like my biggest things.
Has it been a reoccurring thing?
Yeah, I get really close to people and then they either die or just leave. And I'm just like, dang. And I mean, that happens to everybody, but I guess it just hits me differently, I guess.
Yeah.
So that, but also what John Mark was talking about earlier that I really connected with is just that when I have such a high standard for myself.
And you miss it.
And when I miss it, I destroy myself and I'm like, you gotta start all the way over or something like that. Like it's, for me, it's like I take 4 steps forward and if I take a half step back, I'm like, you gotta start over. You gotta rebuild yourself. Like all these different things. And so like over the years from starting my business at 14.
Was it lawn? It was landscaping, right? I feel like you told me
Yeah,
about this
lawn,
briefly.
landscaping, limbs, all sorts of stuff.
Limbs?
Like tree limbs.
I was like,
It was amputations, lawn care.
I will mow your lawn and amputate your arm.
Just put your arm, put your arm into the deck of the mower,
Just stick your hand out the window.
redneck style.
Dude, wait, pause, story time.
Put duct tape
Out the
in.
window, my mom has this famous story, okay? We're going to get back to you, Gabe.
Okay.
Her brother, my uncle, got his head stuck in the window with like his elbow or something hitting the roll the window up side of the window button. And it was just like, ow, my head. And it like kept squishing his head. And like, I don't know how long it happened. I don't know if it messed him up. But it's like her favorite story to tell because she thinks her brother's
it
pretty
your
dumb
uncle
for
you
doing
said?
that. Yeah, this is my uncle.
I feel
one
like
of
the
them.
uncles always have something that jacked them up. Like the uncles are the stupid ones. I feel like the uncles are the ones that like my cousin's Uncle Carter.
Okay.
He did like a backflip on the trampoline, but when he hit the trampoline, it double bounced and his knee hit him in the mouth.
Ow.
And he like jacked himself up. And I was like, ooh. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I have not done a backflip. I refuse. I can do a front flip.
You heard it here first, folks.
I refuse to
Gabe
do a
has
backflip.
not done a backflip.
I have not.
And
I don't feel like people my
That's
size should be doing
advanced
backflips anyway. Like I feel like that's a catastrophic failure. If that, like, if I like fall, like that'll make people get off balance. You know what I'm saying? I fall, it's like boom. Yeah.
dang, man. So what brings you joy?
What brings me joy?
Not doing backflips.
Not doing. Yes.
That
It's like I
transition was
tried.
wild.
I tried, and then I just flop like a fish, like 5 feet in the air, and then fall on my back. Yeah, we're not doing that. Not doing that. And then everyone else goes, shh, and I'm like, you know, what I'm saying? It's a big man
They
falls,
didn't
and
come
then
back.
and all
I
this.
was really waiting for you to like bring him back, and then you just
No, that's why.
They
That's
come
why.
back.
That's why people leaving me is so.
Oh.
It's so scary, man.
way to bring it
just
back
keeps
around.
going.
I just bounced.
They
and
left the stratosphere.
just go up and they never came back down.
Gabe's personality is so big, he bounces the people closest to him out of his life.
Dang. Yeah.
Dang.
I'm just a big man, okay? When I bounce on the trampoline.
Gabe,
Just a
I'm
big
sorry I
man.
went to Texas. This don't have to be about me.
He's just a big man with big emotions.
I know,
And
it's so weird. I walk in.
That's
and-
okay
and
though. Emotions
Gabe's
are good.
life is just a big trampoline.
Life's a trampoline.
Amen.
That
Dude,
would be
I
a
don't
good
know if I
song.
like that. Like, okay, so I am a big man with big emotions, and it's really weird because I'm also, I consider myself like a sheepdog or like a shepherd, like a German shepherd.
Okay.
And so I walk in the room, this huge man, 6'5", 250, like, and everyone's like, "You're scary." And then I get to talking, and they're like, "You're not scary anymore." And like, and so like, because I have all these emotions too, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
we're trying to get around from what breaks your heart to what brings you joy.
Okay,
So it's just people that are close, staying close, or just like having your inner circle.
people that
Does
are
that
close,
make you?
yeah, having real friends that like the 3 a.m. friends.
Like the 10. What time is it?
The 11, 12 p.m.
Thank you, John Mark.
Well, there's a very big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people that I saw it on another podcast. It's like there's people that you call them at 3 a.m. You can hear them like getting their belt on, like everything, getting a shovel and a bucket, and they're going to your house like, "What we doing?"
What are you doing at 3 a.m. that involves a shovel and a bucket?
That's not the point. The point
Burying the body, obviously.
No, the
He-
point.
What did you do, Gabe?
It's
He brings a valid
Why is this the
question.
first example that came to mind?
It was on the podcast. Whoever that guy.
Thank
was.
you for asking him that.
No,
Channing.
it's just
It's an allegory. Don't worry about it.
it's an extravagant example that no matter what it is, it's like, I need your help. I can't tell you what it's for, but I need a ride, or like, I need your help. And the guy's like, "Whose car are we taking? Are we eating on the way there?" Like, it like
What I'm
no
hearing
matter
is
what the
Gabe has
situation
really
is.
good friends.
But yeah, what brings me joy, is not having 30 acquaintances that I can go to Brahms with every now and again.
I got a bag of burgers in my fridge. If you need one, by the way,
Dude, you have a bag of burgers
I
in your
got 3
fridge?
left. I have 3 left.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Post
Are you offering
podcast,
them
you're
to
not
me?
you're not munching all 3 of them, but you can have one at the end of the podcast.
Okay, they know me well enough now that you can have one burger, Gabe. One.
You can have
That's
one.
your reward for
One.
getting your butt up here.
yeah, one
Yeah.
burger.
This podcast was supposed to start at 10. We started like 20
Yeah,
minutes
Monopoly
late.
is
Did not
really important
happen.
to me. That brings me joy. I'm kidding.
That's okay.
No.
Anyways, continue with what you're saying.
So, real friends,
Real friends.
not people that are just beside me. I want people that'll. Well, I don't want people that are just all around me. You know, I want people that are standing beside me. At 3 a.m., I wake up. I don't even care if it was just because I had the worst nightmare of my life, and I need somebody to call. I want one person that I can call, and as of now, that's mostly my dad. My dad is my hero. I like no one else. Like I literally had to tell my dad the other day. Like now that I'm getting closer to God, I literally had to tell my dad the other day that I can't. I want to be closer. Like I literally had to tell my dad that
Shout
I
out.
can't
You should
let him
record
be
that.
Release.
my idol. Like I love my dad so much that
Yeah.
I had to tell my dad, like now that I'm getting closer to God, I have to make sure that you're not my idol. So like having someone that is that close is what makes
Yeah.
me happy. Because men are the ones that go to war, and a multi-cord, like a multi-stranded cord, is not easily broken.
Yeah.
And so,
Dude, I really like that you brought up how what brings you joy can actually like be idolized, right?
God
so
gave
for
us our
me,
musical talents and
Right.
stuff. And yeah.
I was like, I had a really big check just like the last week of like, oh, thank you, Lord, for all the excitement you've given me about creativity lately. But am I like idolizing what I'm working on? Am I idolizing? And by idolizing, really, even if it's not totally idolizing, but am I prioritizing these things above you? Because at some point it's like, oh, if I would rather do everything else that I want to do with my life before
if something is
God, then that is idolizing them. You know, so like for me, it was like, oh, if I wake up every day and I only want to prioritize the things that I'm trying to do and that I'm trying to create, I then can begin to idolize the things that bring me joy. In the same way that, oh my gosh, I love to have great friends. And if I prioritize having and keeping and making and being a great friend, and that's the only thing I worry about, I'm sure you'll be a great friend. Or like for me, I'm sure I'd be a great creative, but it's like, if I'm just living for creativity, then I'm idolizing. If I'm just living for the relationship with my dad and he's the only person I look to, or I look, that I look up to, even like, I don't know, like there can be an unhealthy balance of,
Well, the thing about God that's super cool is that if you the thing about it is that if you idolize, like if I idolize my dad, I hope this doesn't happen, but it might. I mean, actually, it probably will. My father will pass away in my lifetime, probably. And if he's my idol, and I put my personality, and I find my value in having him, and not put my value in being with God.
Yeah, the value.
When he's gone, I don't feel like I have value.
Right.
Or my friends, if my friends or the woman that I love, if I put her or my friends or my father, my family, my interests,
It's if they're the things that bring you value.
then when they're gone, where's my value at?
And
it's
yes-
always been here. I just haven't
Yeah.
connected to
No,
this.
that's good. God's been stretching me there lately too, because I'm doing long distance for like a few months this summer. And it's like, okay, is my value found in having a relationship, or is it found in having a relationship with God? You know? And it's like, oh, I actually think that I might have a healthier balance of my value being found in God than in my relationship than I thought. And if I didn't have that, it's definitely been growing. You know what I'm saying? I've actually been
Growing
fairly
is better
content.
than standing still.
Right.
So,
But no, the value is so important. If you realize your value is coming from something, that is a huge indicator of it being idolized.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, that's what brings me joy, is having someone that will fight with me.
Brothers.
Will fight beside me, because the Bible talks about in Proverbs, near that same towards the end of the passage, it talks about the cord of 3 or 4 strands is not easily broken, but it talks about one person can't like reap much of what he sows, but 2 people have like more for their harvest. If one person falls, he can't get up, but if if he has 2 people, then the other man can pull him up. And if one person's by himself, he's cold. If 2 people are there, they're warm. Like that is just like, it's a proverb. And so that's what brings me joy, is having someone that if all hell broke loose, someone would walk through hell with me.
Yeah. You know, it's so good that you brought up the verses that are attached to that too. Or like for me, it's like, okay, if I start to get so concerned about doing something wrong with all these good things, right? Like, obviously, good relationships is a good thing too. You know, just because you have good relationships doesn't mean you're idolizing
God
them.
wants you to have good
Right.
relationships.
Or just because you enjoy creativity doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But
gave you the creativity.
it is so crazy that evil is just around the corner. You know? How quickly you can distort a good thing into something that's like totally out of order, totally out of whack, right? And so
all it takes is one seed for something to start growing. And so, like, with the idolization thing, every morning before I talk to anybody, whether it's, I mean, just anybody, like before I talk or get on Instagram or anything, I get up and I fall on my knees in the middle of the 2 beds and I pray. I talk to God first.
that's a good practice, man.
Now, that's a good practice. I need to talk to him more. But it's just a little little sacrifice at a time. I don't know where I was going with that, but I had a point. And,
It's okay.
But
That's great advice. I mean,
the seed. So the seed.
the seed.
If one morning I'm just too tired. I'm just too tired to pray. I just sleep in all day. There's also proverbs about that, about sluggish people. And so a seed, what happens to me, just like when I don't produce and whatever as like a machine like I want to, is also how I've made a goal and a vow to God that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to talk to you before I talk to anyone else. And then I don't, then that plants a seed where I broke a promise. I did all these things, and then guilt tries to slip in. And then that's just one seed that the devil,
Sure.
not even necessarily the devil. We give him too much credit. I don't want to do that. But just
That evil can sneak in the door.
Yeah, just the natural part of our brains and our spirits that try to condemn ourselves and our sinful nature. But yeah, it just takes one seed for it to start growing. So yeah, evil is always around. It's not even around the corner. It's inside of us, and we have to
combat it for sure.
Yeah,
And even
every day.
we have to combat our perspectives continually, right? Just because I don't find my value in having a relationship with my girlfriend today doesn't mean I don't have to combat that tomorrow, So it really is crazy how quickly you can distort good things. But let's move on to a couple more questions, okay? This one is really, really interesting, okay? This one is a anybody can answer question.
Ooh.
Obviously,
Ooh.
the first ones were very personal. This one's a lot less personal, but
Cool.
still kind of deep.
It's gonna be like Cheetos or
Discontentment.
Cheez-Its.
Purely a perspective thing.
It's definitely about Cheez-Its.
Watch it be something political like Coke or Pepsi.
That was it. Did you guys not hear that?
Wait, actually?
Is it
No, my
Coke or
question.
Pepsi?
No, I asked the question. You guys weren't
you-
even listening. I said,
didn't hear a word you
is
said.
contentment purely a perspective thing? Or is there more to it than perspective?
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Channing.
Ooh.
Channing's always got good thoughts.
Bro, dang, I need.
He just likes to deliver them tastefully.
Wait, what?
That is a tasty question.
Channing, you got some tasteful answer for me?
If contentment is just a perspective thing, or,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess. Can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
How so?
I mean, it's like, is the glass half full or half empty? Like,
Here's a thought I've been thinking about lately related to this. Might help us get to a good answer. But do you guys think there's a difference between dissatisfaction and discontentment?
Oh yeah.
Because I kind of blurred the lines between those things recently. And then in a conversation with one of my friends, I really was realizing that is what was discouraging me so much, was that I was treating things I was dissatisfied with as signs of discontentment. And I'm like, why am I so discontent? And it's like, actually, shoot, I don't think I was as discontent as maybe I was identifying. And that instead I just was dissatisfied with things that are actually worth being dissatisfied with,
Contentment and joy are very similar, I think. Like, I could go over there
That's
and
true.
slap the absolute crap out of you, and you could still be content. You would
interesting.
definitely be dissatisfied, but you could still be content.
Mm.
We should be content with where we are and who we are, but we should never be satisfied.
Satisfaction is definitely something more within our hands, maybe.
Even
The
if
way-
it's not never being satisfied, it's that when you are satisfied, you need to continue to grow. So if you're continuously growing, then what will satisfy you will always continue to be more. And so,
Because being content does not mean being stagnant.
That's good. I was gonna get to
Being
a similar
what?
thought. You have something to say, Channing?
So like I would say like technically like the difference between satisfaction and contentment is that contentment doesn't happen on a time scale, whereas satisfaction is very event focused and that does sit on a time scale. So it's like so like let's say like God, he's like content with like, you know, like this is everything that ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say like when the fall happened, he wasn't like satisfied with like, you know, us just kind of chilling here and, you know, with that whole situation. And so like in that case, he wasn't satisfied with that. And so he, you know, did the whole thing of like sending Jesus. And so like, while he may have been like content with like the outcome of everything of like, okay, so here's everything, like, cause like he sees everything that's like happening on the timeline and everything that like ever will or has happened. And so like there is contentment in that. And in a similar way, we are able to find contentment in like really just like existence.
I mean, God looked at everything and said it was good.
Yeah.
He
And
was content with his creation. He saw that man was good, and he loved man, and he was content with his creation and said that and saw that it was good, but he was not satisfied.
yeah, and it's like, I don't,
with their sin.
and it's like, I don't think that was necessarily like just a state of the world at that point thing. He like saw it like everything that ever existed. And he was just like, yeah, like contentment. But then like, you know, like with the flood, like he obviously wasn't satisfied with that. And so like there is definitely a difference in that contentment just is, and that satisfaction is very much a temporal thing. And it's okay to be dissatisfied, but contentment, we do need to like be content.
I think actually dissatisfaction, is that the right way of saying that? Dissatisfaction?
I have no
I think
idea.
so.
Yeah.
I've been realizing, like, you know, when I said earlier, like, what sort of things does God burden your heart with? Or I even think that sometimes for me, it's like, okay, is God reminding me of things that I shouldn't be satisfied in my life with, you know? Like, is he telling me do better by instigating dissatisfaction with certain results in my life? Not that they're all directly related to what I'm doing, but just that, okay, God, if I'm dissatisfied with my friend situation, if I'm dissatisfied with my church situation, if I'm dissatisfied with my money situation, is that really maybe a sign to do better, not a sign of discontentment? And so for me, realizing that I absolutely can have permission to be dissatisfied and for it to not affect my contentment was like a really, I don't know, it was a game-changing thought for me, because I had been sort of accepting that maybe my just like lack of movement.
That's works. So it's the faith without works is dead thing again. So your friend group is not working out. So you have faith in God that it will work out for the good, but you still have to work for it. And you still have to grow yourself. And so if you're dissatisfied, I don't think God places it on you, but I think that he if we are like I was telling John Mark, I was like, if we are constantly growing, when we had grown this much, we were satisfied with this much.
Ooh, before I lose my thought, contentment is not permission for being like stagnant, you know?
Oh yeah.
And you said that word earlier, stagnant, I think, John Mark.
Hate stagnant.
And so I guess for me, I was realizing, okay, God, I'm mad at myself for identifying myself as discontent. But then I realized, oh, maybe I'm actually just dissatisfied with things, and that this dissatisfaction is actually pointing me to get out of stagnation. Did I say that right?
Sounds like a cool word. I'd keep it.
Stagnation, yeah.
Also kind of off topic, but I kind of wonder, like, would it make sense for us to, like, sort of define our terms to some degree before talking about them? Because I've noticed in this conversation we're very much just basically talking about what the connotation is about these words that we hear in church. instead of actually answering the question. Like,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah, you can try to define it.
So which word specifically?
Well, like, what actually is the difference between discontentment and dissatisfaction?
Right.
'Cause-
I think that the difference is
'Cause-
that contentment can be found in like, I don't think they're contingent on each other, if that makes sense. And before I thought they were. I thought they were like directly related, and I don't think they are directly related.
So I'm just talking about like what the words actually
Like,
mean,
It's
not
the
what
thing,
we
like,
feel
I
about
still,
them.
like I was saying, like the slap thing. You go over to me, you slap me, but I still love you. I'm mad at you, but I still love you.
I'm lost with your analogy
Okay,
on that one. I'm
it's-
not gonna lie.
It's just a
I don't know.
connection between the two. So, contentment is a state of being. Happiness
Yes.
is an emotion.
Or dissatisfaction is a feeling.
Satisfaction is a momentary thing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as someone slaps
No, that's a good way of putting it.
you're not going to be satisfied with your situation anymore.
So
So that is a momentary happiness.
what I
Channing
find
Googled the definitions, guys.
So the thing about this conversation is we're talking very much about just like the connotation we're familiar with. And so dissatisfaction, like I looked them up, they really just mean like, so dissatisfaction is like not satisfaction and discontentment is not contentment. And
Right.
so
What's contentment?
So let's look
we're
at-
in spiritual definitions.
yeah, we're giving churchy definitions is what we're doing,
Hey, well, we're a churchy group. It's okay.
I guess. So satisfaction, fulfillment of one's wishes, expectations or needs, or the pleasure derived from this. So that's what the definition of satisfaction is.
Wow.
Is like just the fulfillment of like what you expect, what you want. Contentment's definition is a state of happiness and satisfaction. So like, what is the difference you're trying to draw from this? Because like they definitely have different rings to it, but like, what actually is the point?
What we were
about?
saying is that contentment can be found. If contentment can be found amidst dissatisfaction, that there is a very prominent difference. There's
So can you
there's
draw
a
that
distinguishing
difference?
thing between the two if they can coexist.
So can you like actually draw that difference out for me?
That's what we were trying. That's what we were fishing for this whole
Yeah,
conversation.
I
So really,
think
I don't know
it
if we're
can
there, but I
coexist.
think we did. We dug into it a little bit. I would love to ask like,
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the definition here that literally the definition of contentment is satisfaction. So
right.
like,
And so what I was saying more is not that I think I know the definition, but that like experientially in my life that I've been realizing a very seemingly huge difference between the two. And so I just was curious what your guys' thoughts are. And I don't think that Google is the end all be all of
Yeah, well,
reality.
there has to
you know?
be a difference.
Right. If-
Because, yes.
or is there just a different word for it that we're not talking
potentially.
about?
Well, in everything there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. That usually happens with like if a police officer pulls you over and all that. That's when it usually comes up. But like that could be called the letter of the law. Google says that contentment is basically just satisfaction. But the spirit of the law is in that moment when that police officer pulls someone over for them speeding, but he sees in the back of the car a woman is like having a child and they need to get to the hospital, which is why they're speeding.
Your analogies are
That's the
something.
spirit. That's happened.
Okay, sorry.
Something is
Yeah.
like they're having a child in the back seat, and that's why they're speeding. And the spirit of the law tells the police officer, "I will escort you so that you, even though we're speeding, which is technically against the law." My connection is just that if Google is the letter of the law, this is what it means.
So
But
my thing with
experience-wise, it does not correlate. Then
Yeah.
Before we go too far into this rabbit hole, I'd love for us to not go too far over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So you should say your thought,
Yeah,
Channing,
so-
and then I kind of want to shift directions a little bit.
yeah,
So the thing is, like, we're going very much just completely based off the connotations we hear in church. And I'm sort of, we didn't like explicitly state this, but I feel like part of the thing about the podcast is it's very easy to talk about things just because we agree about them. And I don't want this to be a podcast that people listen to or that people view just because they agree with us. And so from that direction, like, for any viewer that isn't from a church background, there may not actually be that much of a difference between dissatisfaction and discontentment. And so we're like sort of assuming that on them when like there might just be better words for like the idea you're having. Cause like I agree with the idea, but like just communication wise, these aren't the words for it. So,
I mean, I think that someone can have contentment in a situation whether they're a Christian or not. Just like I used just a physical example. Love is not just a feeling. Love is actions. Love is giving. Love is sacrificing. For God so loved the world, he gave. It's a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And I went back to the Bible, but I mean, but like what I said with Micah, I could if he loves me as a friend and nothing would change that. I go over there, I slap him across the face, no matter what the reason is.
yeah.
But he still loves me, just like non-Christian families. Now,
Before you go
I think
too far into this rabbit
without
hole,
God,
Gabe,
forgiveness and love is maybe harder because God is love, and if we have God inside of us, in our heart, what comes from our heart comes out our mouth, our actions, all that. But with non-Christians, just going straight to the bare bones, if you love somebody and they slap you, that doesn't make you not love them. That just makes you mad at them. So I think that even just totally taking Christianity out of our definition,
we're talking about contentment and satisfaction. Now we're talking about love and forgiveness. Yeah. Are you pulling it back to?
Is your point just that you feel like anybody can relate to it?
Contentment is in spite of. Contentment is in spite of this, I still.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
But satisfaction is this does not satisfy me. This does satisfy me. Momentary. But love is a choice. It's a state of being. And so, yeah.
No, that
write
does
that
make
down. Contentment is in spite of I still.
Yeah, no, the in spite of was a good thought to get to. I wanna shift now.
Yeah, we've been on this.
Channing, I love that what you brought there. Like, I do think we should be cautious about how Christianese we get. But that being said, my whole question was posed to be Christianese because it's something I've been experiencing as a Christian. So
that makes sense.
I'm not too disappointed with the direction that we sort of dove into initially, but I love that you're considering just in general what you talk about. We should all keep that in mind. All right, real quick, guys, I want us to just address something. We're banned, right?
Oh yeah,
I guess
we are.
How
That's kind of weird.
How real does that feel to you guys? Like in your mind, if someone said, "Oh, you have a band," what would you tell them? John Mark, you go first.
What was the question? Wait, what?
Wait,
if someone asked,
we can't hear you.
Band?
Oh no.
Hello?
I'm gonna feel so bad if he's like tried to talk this whole time.
Wait.
But we couldn't hear him.
He's actually just.
And bro just thinks we've been ignoring him.
Yeah. I'll just turn me up on the FaceTime.
Just turn it up on the iPad.
I guess.
Because if you're still recording, we'll still have audio for like post. It'll be like.
I'm trying to make sure. I think the recording's still going through. It should be.
Bro,
okay.
They got a whole shot
so
there.
yeah, we can hear you now.
They got
all right,
a whole
John Mark.
shot up in there.
We're a band or something. What does that mean to you?
We're a band. That means that we can do whatever we want. No. I'd say really the whole thing of being a band, the thing that I'm most excited about is being able to create things that I've personally never been able to create before because of my limited resources, and kind of bringing together different skill sets from each of us that show like, oh, this is what we're capable of together.
Yeah, it's a collaborative project.
We got a 5-stranded chord. Heck yeah, buddy.
It's the fifth.
And so it's like
get her done.
All the songs on the EP that's coming soon, like, are stuff that I definitely personally would not have been able to create by myself. I don't know if, Rat Hole, maybe Channing probably would have been able to create by himself, but like most of the songs, like I feel like were not really possible unless we were all working together.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's kind of crazy.
Very true. Very true. It's a collaboration. Gabe, what would you tell someone if they said, "Wait, are you in a band?"
Well, we were playing Monopoly, and I was like, "Yo, I got a podcast," and Gracie was like, "What? For what?" And I was like, "Well, band, dude, the band, bro, the unabridged." I was like, "The band, dude." I gotta go up there. I gotta go upstairs for the band podcast. So I mean, I tell people we got a band. Most of the time, it's like we're working on it. We're getting
right. I'm always like, we've met like twice in person.
we're not like touring, but like we're finding where it's squeaking out. We're putting some oil on it. Getting the machine working. So I mean, we're not a fully. I mean, y'all are working like machines. I don't know, but
a little bit.
I'm out there using a chainsaw all day, and y'all are freaking cranking out a song in like 7 hours.
We were kind of looking at you out the window, thinking if he would just stop using that chainsaw for like a couple minutes, and then you did, and then we tracked some snaps for Xander's song.
Oh yeah.
We tracked some.
Oh, so I was out there working my butt off, and y'all were just like
we were trying to track some stuff
with Xander.
We were trying to record some stuff.
Dang!
We actually turned the AC off. If that makes you feel better.
Did you actually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously?
No, that thing's loud.
Yeah, the AC is so loud.
Oh, dude, I would have stayed outside.
All right, Channing, what do you think? Someone asks you have a band. What would you tell them?
I mean, it's kind of nice not having to actually make music myself. Like, yeah. I mean, like y'all write stuff, y'all record stuff. Like literally the other day, I mean, like with Xander.
You would tell them that your role in the band is something different than you've had in the past, or what are you getting at?
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of a change of pace because, like, for the past year, I haven't, like, actually sang anything. And, like, I haven't, like, actually... I know I've just been playing bass for the past year, too. And, like, I'm not even a bassist. And
it must be cool. Like, you're, like, a part of something now instead of, like you are a part of something instead of just doing it all yourself. You know, like
sort of, yeah.
I mean, it's like if you can't do something, one of us might be able to. You know, I don't know. I mean, that must be.
I mean, I've been like parts of lots of stuff, but like it's just nice, like not having to actually do everything because it's a lot of work.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've been just telling people, I mean, I'm like producing my first EP with my band, but then I'm like low key, we've only all like sat in the same room like a couple times, but you know. We text each other.
Mark is like right here.
We have a group chat. We have a group chat and a logo.
We have a group chat.
Pretty sure
The logo is actually good job.
I designed that in Vocal
It's really
Technique,
cool.
sitting next to Gabe. I'm pretty sure I like was sketching on my homework.
designed that on like the
I was probably
funky
doing
app.
the same thing, but I was probably drawing majestic mountains.
Yeah. What were we saying, Channing?
No, like what funky app was that you used?
That I made it on
I heard
Fonto.
funky afro.
Fonto.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Fonto.
He always talks about Fonto.
Yeah.
love
Well, that's
Fonto.
sweet, guys. I'm so excited. We're a band. We got music coming. We got conversations coming. We have a podcast. Once this is posted, I guess we have a podcast. Right now, I'm like, are you a band if you've never played or released a song together?
I mean, I wouldn't really think about it as a band, but
We are working on it, okay?
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, or like, are we even a podcast until this is posted? You know, but
Facts.
it is fun to like speak in
When
future
a tree
tense.
falls in a forest and no one's around
It's
to hear
prophetic.
it, does it even make a sound?
amen.
It's
Okay,
prophetic. We are a
Hanson.
band. We are a podcast. Channing and I are YouTubers now as well. Lots of
We haven't
content
posted
coming.
anything, but
Right, that's what I'm saying. We haven't
Yeah.
released music, nor released a podcast, nor released YouTube videos. Yet I'm saying
currently
we
we
are all
are
these
a record label and a recording studio. So
things. That's true.
Yeah, we're just that cool. We're working on it, okay?
Lots of creativity coming though.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things I didn't get to. I would love for your guys' takes on the podcast to be very different from mine though. So no pressure to like go deep. We're gonna host this podcast by a different individual every time we do it for the most part. Just kind of rotate it through. So get excited about that, guys. I don't know. Sort of plan what you think you would want to do with our conversations. We can figure out our time frame and what we're looking for more as we go a little bit. But for the most part, I wanted to be pretty unrestricted, unabridged.
Unrestricted, uncut, unabridged,
Hey,
unsatisfied, uncontent.
Uncontent, yes.
the unabridged podcast.
The Undiscontent podcast. That was kind of cool.
It's not bad.
All right.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, but
Do we squeeze in? Oh my gosh! Yes, there was one more thing. John Mark,
Yeah.
and
Come
I
on,
guess
stop
Gabe, you
talking
can do
so
this
much.
too
We don't
if
have
you
time.
want. Gabe, do you want to join in this? I know John Mark's gonna say yes,
what?
but you have to say yes
Wait,
before
what?
I present the option.
Yes. What are we talking about?
We want to have a little
gonna
beat
say, like, do you
battle
wanna join
with
my
this
cult?
sample pack that Channing and I made today.
A beat battle?
We're gonna have a beat battle. We're all gonna produce.
Wait, you made a sample?
tracks?
You made a sample pack?
We sampled my electronic
Yeah.
drums mic'd up.
I don't know how to.
I kid you not.
I don't know how to do that.
Talk
New
about
video
it,
is
Channing.
probably going to come out like in the next couple weeks, but we have a sample
I'm
pack.
so excited.
We're probably going to like sell it or whatever, but
They're kind of sick, actually.
it's really stupid.
They're like distorted and EQ'd up. And I had literally, I had 8 microphones on my electric drum
It's a
set.
drum pack.
But the restrictions are, or not the restrictions, I guess. I don't know what you have to do. The requirement is just you have to use the samples, as many as you can fit.
I have to produce something?
Yeah,
You
to
have
produce
GarageBand.
something
I'm
with
not a
it.
producer.
That's not the point.
The best I've done is like some basic jazz beat on like GarageBand.
Right? No, we have the beats though. It literally, we have the
They're drum
foundational
loops
things.
and like one shots if you want those. Like,
And so, okay, so the drum loops are already there, and I just have to put words to it or something.
No, you don't have to rap. It's about the beat. It's not about.
or you can rap, yeah, that'd be
Oh
fun.
my god!
I think
Do
we
whatever
actually
you
worked on
want.
a
I think
rap.
the best beat becomes a John Mark single.
What if I'm the best beat? Okay, gosh,
It could be cool.
you don't think the country guy can make a rap? Okay,
No, it's
Is
not.
that
I'm
a
from
threat?
Arkansas. We're a
No,
little
wait,
ghetto.
Gabe. This isn't about. We're not rapping on these. This is about the
Oh,
beat.
right.
Yeah, you got to make
I'm
something
gonna
cool.
rap on it.
I mean, you can rap
gonna
on
do it
it,
to
but
one
like, I
another.
feel like what we're competing on is like the track, and then
He's
obviously
gonna destroy me. Let's do an arm
you
wrestling
said yes.
competition.
You heard it here, guys. Beat battle coming your
Let's do
way.
an arm
Beat
wrestling
battle, arm
competition.
wrestle.
John Mark, do you know jujitsu?
Beat battle coming. YouTube
Guys,
channel coming.
It's not a competition, but I'm going to destroy you.
Yes, you are. There's no competition. That's like me saying, John Mark, do you know jujitsu? Because you have to say yes before I give the option. And so I'm like,
I'm
yeah.
a
And so
yellow
you're
belt
like,
in
yes. And I'm
Taekwondo.
like, cool, you're gonna die.
Wow.
And so now he's like, you have to say yes before I give the option. And then I'm like, yes. And then he's like, okay, you're gonna get demolished by John Mark, who's been doing this
Yeah.
for years
You
of
know,
his life.
I didn't say you had to win, but
I
you
play in
do-
the key
you
of
do have
C
to
on the
play.
guitar.
You have to
What am I
participate.
gonna do?
Yeah, Gabe.
That's okay.
Gabe, you actually do have to win this, so do better.
Do we want to like?
Did you say I have to win this?
We should say we present
to
our
win
beats
this.
at the next
You're gonna be
podcast
dissatisfied
That
episode.
would
with
make
that.
sense.
The next
Yeah, I'm
podcast
gonna
episode.
be very
When's
uncontent.
our next episode?
No, you're going to be content.
Okay.
You're gonna be content because contentment.
We got to get the outro in. This podcast has gone too long.
Wait, when's our next?
Next episode,
The outro.
you will bring a beat. Are you bringing a beat? You can bail if you want. You can give up.
Yes, I'm gonna bail. I don't
Fine. Channing, you're going to bring a beat next podcast?
Sure.
John Mark, you're going to bring a beat from the sample pack?
When is the next podcast?
We'll
Yeah,
try to
when
do it
is
in a
that?
couple weeks,
know.
Couple
The,
weeks.
the outro.
at
Let's
least.
see.
The
you want.
Unabridged podcast. Sounds like that sounds like a Disney outro.
We got to harmonize though.
Welcome back to the Unabridged podcast. You know what I'm saying?
That's all, folks.
Over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away in break of day to find the pale enchanted gold.